Keanu Reeves. Ask me if you want almost anything. What's a fun fact that most people probably don't know about you? For a long time in Los Angeles, when I first moved there, when I was 20 years old, it was such a new world, and so I saw some guys at a gas station once who had hockey equipment in their car, and I asked them what they were doing, and they said they were playing street hockey, so I asked them if I could play. So I became involved in a street hockey game that took place every weekend for over 10 years. Every weekend, red versus black. We would take holidays off and sometimes summers, but the game was going on for over 10 years. That was cool to be a part of. It was a cool thing to have happen. Made some friends. Are you immortal? No, but energy cannot be created or destroyed, they say. What do you think about the picture of you sitting on a bench looking sad? I think that a picture can tell 1,000 words, and none of them can be right or true. I'm absolutely a very happy person. You've played 8 characters named variants of John. Johnny Utah, John Constantine, Johnny Mnemonic, Jonathan Harker, Don John, John Proctor, John Wall, and now John Wick. What's with all the Johns? Coincidence or something more? You know, I was thinking that just the other day as I was going to set for John Wick, I was actually counting them as well. I think there's something. For some reason, the name John is attractive to storytellers to hang their characters on. It seems to resonate with a strong open quality. What is your favorite movie? Here's some. Taxi Driver, Apocalypse Now, A Clockwork Orange, Strozek. You've done the Matrix movies. You've done Man of Tekai. With that being said, what is your favorite martial art? You know, I love all martial arts. I don't practice any particular form or style, but yeah, I don't have a favorite. But it was great during the making of Man of Tekai to spend time with the leading man Tiger, who has studied Tekai since he was a kid, and it was great to talk about how we could bring some of the ideas of Tekai into the story of Man of Tekai and some of the philosophies. What kind of music do you listen to, and which song is stuck in your head right now, if any at all? The music I'm listening to right now? Let's see, I just got the new 9 Inch Nails recording. I really like this other band Mets, just got their first album which was great. And I've been listening to a song that I really like from LCD Sound System, and the song is Someone Great. Hey Keanu. In 1993 I went to LA, and on my way back from illegally visiting the Hollywood sign, I accidentally landed in your yard. Metallica was blaring on your stereo as you were fixing your Norton motorcycle. I asked you for the quickest way out to get a cab, and you pointed towards your fence. My friend and I were a little starstruck and just stood there. You said that you'd offer us a ride, but showed your dirty hands to show you were busy. I then asked you if you were the guy from Bill and Ted's, and you replied with a kinda. I know it was a short interaction, and I was most likely bothering you, but I still wanted to thank you for that. I also remember your garage door windows were spray painted with Merry Christmas and Joyeux Noel. Sorry I couldn't give you a ride. Burden of fame question. If a fan sees you on the street, does a quick hi Keanu bother you? What about a stop and chat? Would you prefer people see you and then not bother you at all? It's always nice to say hi to folks. You know, it really depends on the moment. Sometimes you have the time to hang out, and other times you don't. But yeah, it's always nice to say hi. Hey, Keanu. What was your reaction when you first saw your face on a meme? My first experience with that was Sad Keanu, and I thought it was funny. What's your favorite kung fu movie? AUGHHH, that's a tough question. Today I will start with Enter the Dragon as the source. Fist of Legend. Tekai Master. Hey Keanu. I have heard that you lived a simple life, even though that you have earned a lot of money from your awesome movies. Why is it that you have chosen the path of life like that, when you could have been in Mason and expensive cars? You know, I've been very fortunate in my life, which I'm grateful for, and I guess it's just to my tastes, to keep life as simple as I can. Do you keep any props or stuff like that from your movies? Like the jacket and sunglasses from The Matrix, or the surfboard from Point Break? I have kept a couple of things. I don't have the surfboard, but I think I have a coat from the first Matrix. I have the sword from Hamlet. I kept a lot of working scripts. I have the jersey from The Replacements. I've got Constantine's lighter and watch. I have Bill and Ted's shorts. Ted's shorts. I used to have the leather jacket from My Own Private Idaho, but I gave that to a friend. And I think that's it. You totally still have the phone booth time machine from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in your living room, don't you? I wish. That was a rickety phone booth they had. It's lost in time. Hi Keanu, thanks for doing this. Out of all the movies you have been in, what has been your favorite movie to film and why? Also, did you get to eat any of those meatball subs from Point Break and how were they? Or did Gary Busey eat them all? That is a very difficult question to answer. I've been lucky enough to have many great experiences. I would say in the 80s, River's Edge. I think working on My Own Private Idaho, working on Little Buddha, The Devil's Advocate, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Johnny Mnemonic, The Matrix Trilogy, Constantine, A Scanner Darkly, Dracula, recently Henry's Crime, Generation Let's See, and there's more. I did a film, my first feature in Los Angeles called The Night Before. It was my first lead in LA in the 80s, and it was a great experience to start the career off. I'll finish with that. Gary Busey got the sandwiches. I had to go run and chase the bad guy. What does Keanu mean? I'm told it means cool breeze over the mountains. Like your life, your movies span many centuries. Which film left the biggest impression on you? Before The Matrix, Point Break was really my first big break into action movies. And then with Speed, I was given the opportunity to try. I worked with a wonderful stunt coordinator called Gary Hines who put me under the bus and let me dangle down elevator shafts. And I think that those two films really helped prepare me for what I was getting into in terms of The Matrix. Definitely when I was going into The Matrix and meeting the Wachowskis, I knew that we were going in to do something that was special. There was 4 months of training before filming. And the ambition of the project was really exciting to be a part of, and then to actually be on the set and realizing the vision of the directors was one of the special moments of my life. If Keanu Reeves was an air freshener he would be Keanu Febreze. That's funny. Mr. Reeves, let's say, hypothetically speaking, you saw something extraordinary and it took you aback. What would your reaction be? Also, imagine if there were no hypothetical situations. I would say look how extraordinary that is. Do like to air guitar in real life? One of my friends asked this, and we've been debating for a while. You know, I'm not an air guitar aficionado. But once in a while, the air guitar comes out. Especially when you first hear, especially for me, that chord or that moment in the song, when the electric guitar cuts in, or blazes out. Once in a while you just got to strum all those strings in the air. In an industry where so many people lose themselves, how do you keep your soul and stay true to self? You are so generous, kind and such a beautiful spirit. How do you stay grounded? Signed, I've been waiting for the past 20 some years. Well, thank you for saying that. And it's easy to stay grounded. The ground is very close. And we walk on it every day. Do you ever just look up at the stars? Absolutely. I believe the other night we had an eclipse of the moon, which was cool. In the cities, I wish you could see more of the stars, but I always love when I'm in places where you can see that blanket, that twirling, twinkling. That is one of my favorite things. During your high school years you loved to play hockey and aspired to play for Canada. What made you change paths and become an actor? And during your career, did you ever consider returning to the sport you played growing up as a child? Yes, I played a lot of hockey in Toronto, Canada. I always thought it would be cool to play for the Canadian Olympic team. When I was 15, I decided to become an actor. And so I started taking acting classes and doing community theater, and then I played John Proctor in a high school play called The Crucible, and from that moment I decided, they always ask you, when you're coming out of school or university, what you want to be, and I knew then that I wanted to become an actor. Do people ever come up to you when you're, say, in an elevator and quote any of your more renowned lines from The Matrix, Point Break, or Bill and Ted? If so, what's your reaction generally like? Do you ever mess about with your fans and tell them you're actually an FBI agent with a straight face? I remember going to an LA Avengers arena football game, and then all of a sudden, you appeared on the screen and people lost their shit and started cheering because you were there. Is it safe to say you're a fan of arena football? On the street, yes. Sometimes people call out lines, which is usually pretty fun. And yeah, my friend actually invited me to that arena football game. It was a good night. What's your favorite hobby? I don't really have a hobby. Is reading a hobby? What's your favorite kind of beer? I will have to say a Pilsner or a Guinness. My friend had a son last week and named it Keanu, partly after you. Any advice for the little guy? I wish the little fella health and happiness and all that he hopes for. What's your favorite sandwich in New York City? That sounds yummy. You know, I had my first pastrami on rye when I came to New York. That's where I was introduced to pastrami on rye with mustard and Russian, with a Coca-Cola on crushed ice, and the kosher pickle. Of all the characters you have portrayed in your movies, which one did you feel was the most like the real you? When I think of a role, I start with my own life experience and who I am. And I get to meet this character. And I think we come to a third place, which is me and the character, and transforming into this third entity to tell the story. So all of these characters have some DNA of mine. I share it with the character. What's your favorite anime, if any? You know, one of the first that I was exposed to was Ghost in the Shell, and that was a cool moment to see that. Hi Keanu. How do you think your life would be different if you had chosen the blue pill? I think if I had taken the blue pill, it says I would go back to sleep and I would have never known what was happening, which sounds very depressing. So I'm glad I took the right pill. Hi Keanu, loved your most recent film. My question is, what inspired you to direct a film? You know, I started to think about directing I guess around 2008. I think it was just through my life experiences, and I've always as an actor thought about the role in the story, and I just found myself starting to think about telling a story. And as I developed the screenplay with Tiger for the 5 years that we did, I originally was not going to direct, but as we kept working on the story, it kind of filled my vision and my heart, and it became the story that I wanted to tell. And so I directed it. My question, on a serious level, how do you keep looking so young? Putting to rest the speculations on you being a vampire/immortal etc. Do you have some sort of special diet, training, surgery, or just super awesome genetics? Yeah, for me that's something inherited I guess. How does that happen? I don't know. I haven't done anything in particular, I will just go with genetics. I will just thank my mom and dad, and then their parents, and then their parents. While you lived in Toronto, what was favorite place to go or hang around? There was a really great hamburger place called Licks. I really used to love hanging out by the grade school I used to go to. I played a lot of street hockey and basketball there. We had wonderful parks. Ramsden Park. We had chestnut fights running around Ramsden Park. The Bloor Street Cinema. I would go see movies there. The University Cinema. Keanu, I believe that I read somewhere that you have a genius IQ level. So why did you go into acting? I mean, based on your intelligence you could have done a lot of things. Why acting? I've actually never had my IQ tested. And you know, in terms of acting, it was just something that caught me from such a young age. In a way I had no choice, because it was the choice. I'm curious, how well traveled are you? Any specific countries/region that you would love to visit again? Why? I've had the opportunity to travel to a few places. I've never been to Africa or the Middle East, and I haven't been to Brazil. I haven't really been to South America. I haven't been to any of the ice caps. I think it would be great to go to the North and South Pole and cross the Sahara. How's your day been? It's been a lovely day. I like Sundays. Sunday is the day of rest. I'm currently working on a film and we were shooting nights, so I got to sleep in a little bit. It's been a quiet morning. I'm looking forward to going to work tomorrow. So it was nice just to rest a little bit and then to start to look at the script and get ready for work on Monday. If you could tell your past self one thing, what would it be? It's a tough question. Today I will choose, at that intersection of Hollywood and Gower, the car's not going to stop for the yellow light, so don't go through there. What's your favorite TV show? You know, I don't have a favorite TV show. but I do know that I love watching the Olympics. Whenever the Olympics are on, I just love watching them. The moments that you get these incredible athletes dedicating so much of their lives to the moments that happen in the Olympics, and it is great to be able to witness that. Keanu, when you began acting, did you have any idea how successful you would become? When did you realize things were taking off in terms of your career? Was there a single moment? What do you believe sets apart the successful and those who aren't, in your industry at least? No, starting out, when I first had my professional work, when I was 15, I just had the courage of youth and the passion for what I wanted to do. I did not know, I had no expectations, I just felt I would be able to do it. I left home when I was 18, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I went from Toronto to Los Angeles. I've had breaks. First I got a role in an American movie of the week that was shot in Canada with Lindsay Warner. That helped me get an agent in LA. To make that jump going from Toronto to Los Angeles and Hollywood, I got my first car and drove from Toronto to LA. I don't know the answer to what sets apart the successful. You definitely need passion and perseverance, and as an actor, unless you are creating your own material, it's up to other people. You audition for work, and if you have other opportunities where you can create, or you can get asked to do work, it's up to other people. Also for fun, can you describe a typical day at home? My typical day, when I'm not working, is usually working on working. So I have a production company, so I work on developing other stories and other projects. Hopefully get to spend some time with some friends. Hopefully get to see a movie or a play or something. In between jobs I'm either working on working or trying to spend time with friends and family. Hi Keanu. What's your favorite piece of real and fictional technology? I think the fictional one that would be interesting for my living world would be a time machine. I think it would be fun to be able to go back or forward. And practical piece of technology, I'm very grateful for the printing press and everything that has followed. Electricity is pretty great too. If you could say only one phrase suggestion for the new generation, what it would be? It's going to be different. It's going to be better. It's up to us, cause they are not doing it. What is a movie you never get tired of watching? You know, it's classics like Goodfellas, Apocalypse Now, anything by Stanley Kubrick or David Lean or Frank Capra, anything by Scorsese. Let's start with those. So how about, what's your favorite meal? Favorite animal? Favorite author? Favorite place you've ever been? My favorite meal? Today I will pick, since it's fall. First of all let's start with a Caesar salad with the anchovy. And then we need a baguette on the table. Then we need some tomato soup with some sharp cheddar cheese in it. Then we can have a New York steak on the bone with some mashed potatoes and some creamed spinach and a 1982 Margaux. And then for dessert we'll have some pumpkin pie with some fresh whipped cream. Yeah, let's do that. And then after all of that we can sit down and have some Armagnac. My favorite animal? Too hard to choose. I don't know what my favorite place is either. Hi, what do you like the most? Cats or dogs? Apples and oranges? I'm going to say some days cats, some days dogs. Depends on the cats and dogs you meet. Do you have any dietary preferences? X. Vegan, gluten-free, no dairy, no processed foods. Or do you eat anything including junk food? I'm not a vegetarian or vegan. I guess I don't really do junk food anymore. But I hope hamburgers don't count as junk food. Ranch style Doritos once in a while, that's pretty good. Chunky or smooth peanut butter. My question is, what is your favorite cupcake flavor? And FYI you are hot. Favorite cupcake flavor? I'm going to pick vanilla. And thanks. Why don't you use social media? Do you feel left out? You know, I'm a fairly private person, and also I think you can share your private thoughts with your friends using social media, but I have not done that yet. I tend to do that when I'm with them. I just have not found the time or way yet. What are your favorite books? Where do I begin? Here are some. As a kid, we can start with The Count of Monte Cristo. We could start with The Lord of the Rings. Then we could get into Finding as a teenager, getting into Fyodor Dostoevsky's The Idiot, Notes from Underground, The Brothers Karamazov. We could get into Jim Thompson. We could go into some William Gibson. Then we could do In Search of Lost Time by Proust. and then just getting into the works of Philip K. Dick, and recently I was reading Don DeLillo, Cosmopolis. I like Updike's The Rabbit series.